One of the things you're going to find on a midi and mini excavator is a multitude of undercarriage options for your tracks. This is a rubber band style undercarriage or track to the undercarriage. It is impregnated with steel. What happens is this undercarriage is actually wrapped or formed around a steel embedded within this track. You also find what is called a rubber block undercarriage track. That would be, you would see each section bolted in on this class machine. Typically, that comes for a little heavier machine. This is a very popular style on a mini or midi excavator. Typically, when you get into that 20,000 pound class, you really start to see the rubber block style. Also, you will see steel. In this class, typically steel is not a favored thing because, again, it causes damage. Many excavators are typically used in, we want kind of low ground pressure, we don't want to chew things up, so we use the rubber class track so we get nice flotation, you don't get a lot of bite and it doesn't tear the ground up. So one of the more costly items we run into on any undercarriage, any ground engaging metal to metal wear on any tracked machine, whether that's a dozer, heavy excavator, or mini class excavator, is our undercarriage. What's very important about this undercarriage, there's a lot of moving parts and there's a lot of things that can happen to these moving parts, and it typically isn't a break, it's typically a wear type of thing, and they'll wear out. The more you track these machines and turn these machines, and depending on the type of soil you're working in, it's going to increase that wear. Again, on mini and midi class stuff, there's typically 3 different types of undercarriages that you'll see. What we're going to talk about is not the track itself, we're going to talk about this undercarriage. It's very important as whether I'm doing a trade-in or, again, that I'm a customer that's looking to buy something, I want to take a look at my front idler. I also want to take it at my rear sprocket, and I'll get to those things. But my front idler is this piece right here. And what happens and what the front idler does, it actually carries the track. And as this track wears, what you end up doing is we're going to press this idler out. When we press that idler out, it's called the tensioner. An idler tensioner, there's many different terms for it, but it's pumped out with this grease zerk. There's a cylinder internal here into the car body that actually pushes a cylinder out, which pushes that idler forward. And what ends up happening is that idler can get, so there's so much wear because the wear happens internally on the pins and bushings inside this track. Typically on a mini or a midi, you don't see as much wear that way. You'll wear these tracks out before you wear out the undercarriage. But on heavy class dozers and excavators, you'll see very extended wear to pins and bushings. And if I'm going to take this on trade, I want to go around and I want to look for dry rot. I want to look for chunks coming out of these tracks, especially when they're rubber. I want to see if I see any metal, if I can see down through the track and see that embedded steel that falls within that rubber track. Another very important thing is as we run these machines, a good way to check my bottom rollers. So you'll find a bottom roller here, 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 and here. They go all the way back to the bottom. Those help the track move and stay in line as it walks around the car body. We want to make sure they're not froze up. A good way to do that, you may have to have the operator on site or ask for help if you can't. But we want to make sure we can take down pressure from the boom, put the stick on the ground, raise this machine up, and operate this side of the track. We want to make sure that we see those bottom rollers turning. If they're froze up, again, it puts a drag on the undercarriage, it puts a drag on this belt, it puts a drag on the steel track, whatever, but it'll wear itself out. Again, it's a costly and timely repair. If you move on back, on this machine, this is what we call the final and or rear sprocket. Back here we're looking for any wear on our sprocket. That wear occurs when this sprocket picks up the pins in the track. Each time it turns, that pin sets in this area. As it wears, it'll wear the head of this sprocket down to a point. Right now, actually the wear on this undercarriage looks like it's in pretty good condition, as well as the feel of the internal body of the sprocket. Looks like it's in good shape. A great place to check is on the back side of here. Look for leaks on a final. It's a good place to find any leaks. Is in this area. There's a plate here, it can be taken off. And this is where you typically will find any leaks to the final will wear out. Not happen in the front, but here in the rear. Those are some of the undercarriage things I would look for. Again, you have front idlers, bottom rollers or track guides, you have sprockets or the final. Obviously you have safety steps on and off, and then a top roller here. Those are some of the pieces on a mini or midi excavator undercarriage. Thanks for watching today. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel or go find us at www.southeasternequip.com.